of fuel subsidies. But after a series of meetings with unions, Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan decided to lower gasoline prices by 30% despite the concession. Ordinary Nigerians are venting their anger in the streets, many of them railing at the high cost of fuel. We have details of that story in this report.
Nigerian unions ended a week-old nationwide strike Monday after President Goodluck Jonathan agreed to lower gasoline prices by 30%. The government had ended fuel subsidies on January 1st, causing gasoline prices to more than double. After the president's announcement Monday, citizens rushed to gas stations, causing long lines and angry customers.
We queue here since over 5 o'clock, and we were not able to get fuel from the filling station. So President Goodluck Jonathan and the Labour, they have to come to agreement and save us out of this situation.
The president's compromise was aimed at putting an end to the general strike, but Jonathan said the government will continue to pursue full deregulation of the downstream petroleum sector. The main fuel protests have been largely peaceful. Before the president's announcement, unions had earlier vowed to press ahead with the strike while calling off street protests. Several street protests were held anyway.
President Jonathan and his team of advisors have lost touch with reality. The idea is not about the amount. The idea is that you are coming against the voice of the Nigerian people. You do not decide unilaterally that what brought about 97, why not 94?
Soldiers occupied main protest sites and set up checkpoints in key areas Monday for the first time since the strike began on January 9th. They later fired tear gas and shot in the air to disperse demonstrators in the capital, Lagos. There were no reported injuries. Meanwhile, the price of food has sharply increased. Most of the country of some 160 million live on less than $2 a day.
The late president of Guinea-Bissau, Malang Bekai Sanyang, has been laid to rest at the Bissau military base. Thousands of mourners, including 2 neighboring leaders, attended the burial. And the head of the Supreme Military Council in Egypt, Marshal Hussein Tantawi, is on a visit to neighboring Libya. The visit is the first by the military leader barely a year since succeeding Hosni Mubarak. We have details in this report.
Chad was hosting the 15th summit of the Economic Community of Central African States on Sunday and Monday. Chadian President Idriss Deby called on high-level invites to invest more in their own countries. He said that Central Africa should not be the last train car behind the locomotive of globalization. The heads of state of the 10 countries present left each other with a call to apply the concept of free circulation of people and goods. Support came from Jean Ping, head of the African Union Commission, and a candidate to succeed himself. Malamba Kaisanya was buried on Sunday. The president of Guinea-Bissau died on January 9th in Paris. He was buried in the presence of thousands of people and the presidents of neighboring countries Senegal and Cape Verde. We must create conditions for peace and stability. These are absolutely necessary for building a democratic legal state in which Guineans have good lives. Malamba Kaisanya's casket had no inscription on it. The ruling party said a plaque will soon be placed on the tomb. The acting head of state in Egypt is in Libya. It is Marshal Hussein Tantawi's first foreign visit after succeeding Hosni Mubarak. The head of the Supreme Council of Armed Forces in Egypt was welcomed in Tripoli by the president of the National Libyan Transition Council, Mustafa Abdel Jalil. The visit is meant to strengthen relations between the two neighbors. Both Egypt and Libya saw revolutions in 2011.
Time now to take another break. When we come back, we'll take a look at sports. Welcome back. The FA Cup holders, Gamtao Football Club, have beaten the league champions, Birkama United 3-1 on post-match penalty shootout after a 1-1 draw to win the Super Cup final. The football showpiece event between the telecommunications giant and the Sateba boys marked the beginning of the 2011 GFA League season. But as Modu S. Jallo reports, history was made at the game.
Was made in Gambian football when for the first time a domestic match has been played into extra time. This piece of football in history happened on Saturday at the Sarakuna East Mini Stadium when Birkama United and Gamtel battled it out for 120 minutes in the Super Cup final, which the telecommunication giants went on to win by 3-1 from a dramatic post-match penalty kicks. A thrilling encounter between two of the country's emerging football heavyweights, the league winners and Champions League hopefuls Birkama United against the FA Cup holders Gamtel. But despite playing for 120 minutes, it wasn't the best of finals. Aside from the two first-half goals, it was quite a dull game, with few chances and a dismal possession football. Hundreds or probably thousands of fans were in attendance to welcome the 2011 GFA League season. Amongst them, the new Scorpions boss Peter Bonnie Johnson, as he takes a look at some of the home-based talents. Fresh from their impressive run in the Wafu Club Championship, Gamtel got off to a perfect start with an early goal, just 11 minutes on the clock. A brilliant cross from Ali Sow found his striker partner, Asan Sise, and the number 9 produced a brave header to put the telecommunication boys in the driving seat. Birkama United responded like the way a real champion does to level the score just before the break. A neat interchange of passes. On the left, perfectly spotted Fode Traore unmarked in the box, and the Sateba striker did what he does best, hitting the target. A great comeback goal from a sublime quality from the center forward to bring his side on equal terms. Two classic finishes from two of the country's promising strikers, and I believe Bonu was taking notes. Meanwhile, with most of the fans interested in the outcome of the game, some of the spotlight was on this man, Bakari Papa Gassama, as he officiated his last game before flying to Gabon and Equatorial Guinea, where he will be amongst the continent's elite referees to officiate in the 26th African Cup of Nations, and his handling of this game was an encouraging one. With the score pegged at 1 apiece, the two teams squared up for the second period, but the story was the same. Another boring second 45 minutes, although there were a few instances that brought the fans on their toes. Since there were no further goals to report after 120 minutes of football, these two sides were finally separated by a post-match penalty shootout. Gamtel were far the better side from the spot kick, with goalkeeper Musa Kamara once again the hero of the day. The Gamtel shot-stopper made two splendid saves to deny the Sateba boys and help his side to win the first silverware of the season up for grab. A masterclass display by goalkeeper Musa Kamara and another trophy in the cabinet for the telecommunication giants. Momodes Jallo, GRT Sports.
And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. The Duck Workers Association has handed over 150 bags of groundnuts and an additional 50 bags of coals to the head of state through the Vice President, Dr. Aisatunjai Saidi. Former Information Minister Amadou Skatret Jane and his 3 co-accused are to know their fate tomorrow after standing trial for 7 months on 3 counts. Tens of thousands of Bissau Guineans and the leaders of Senegal and Cape Verde have attended a state funeral for President Malang Bekai Sanyang. And Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan has caved into people power pressure triggered by the removal of fuel subsidies, prompting unions to suspend their week-long strike. You can also follow that story and other GRTS programs live on www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS radio live. That's all in the news. Thank you very much for your time. And coming up next is the achievements of the Jammeh administration. Please enjoy.